Okay, so today we're here to talk about Teamwork, which is the project management software for the Quinto Encuentro. It's what we're using to manage everything, share documents, message, assign tasks. So we'll be going into that. As you can see, this is the login page. As soon as you go to enave.teamwork.com, it takes you to this page. If for some reason you're ever having problems, like password, you could always click on this link down here, forgot your password, and then recover password. That's also good for those who never received the invite. Many people have been sent the invitation, but sometimes it goes into their junk folder, or it goes into spam, or sometimes it's even their own IT that has set up kind of a barrier to protect from email. So the teamwork.com needs to be whitelisted in order to then allow you to receive those emails. So you have to check those first, and then other times it's just that I have the incorrect email, and so that's why you're not receiving it. So it's always good to have whoever sent the email to double check that they are correct. So you are going to log in. Let me do that. I'm going to log in, and immediately you're taken to the dashboard. This is the dashboard here. I just want to make sure no one is, okay, it looks like everybody, how many people are here before I move on? Okay, about half of you are here, but we'll move on. Okay, so this is the dashboard, which is the main area which tells you all the activity that's happening across all the different projects. Now, I can only see, right now I'm on a test. This is not my regular account. This is my test one that looks more like what you're using, because mine is different as an administrator. And so you will be able to see everything that's been happening lately in the projects that you have access to. Okay. If I'm going too fast, just write a little message for me so that I know that I'm going too fast, because I can go a little fast since I'm very familiar with the software. So if you have any questions, for instance, when we're in an area, to just type it in. So this is the dashboard that tells you everything that's happening. Here you can see everything regarding tasks, milestones, workloads. So this is just a general everything. The top here is your main menu here. So this gives you access kind of to everything. So you're going to be using this primarily when you first get in. And then you have projects. So those are the projects that you have access to. You may have more than these, or you may have less. Typically, most people have 2, but there are others who have way more, depending on what they're working on and at what level they're involved in. You also, under categories, can find things a little easier, especially if you have a lot of projects that you're working on. Here they're categorized by different. Sometimes you can't see them, the categories, because you don't have access to them, but you should be able to access things a little easier if you have a lot of files here. But mostly, if you need to access your projects, you will go here and click on them, and it'll take you to the direct projects. Another quick way is to, let's see, switch projects, and then like this one's one that I was working on a lot, so it'll give you the most recent one, and you can quickly switch over to that. So that's another quick way to get there too, if you don't want to go through all the menus. Then we have calendar. Calendar is basically where you can add events for all your different projects. Now, each diocese is considered a project, and each region is considered a project. So here you'll be able to see I have different items, and I have all the projects on here that I have access to. So I can see that we had a video recording for communications in Sacramento. There's a reunion here. This is somebody else, probably looks like another project. I'm not sure what project it is, but somebody else added that. So people have been adding them. You can also sort by projects. So let's say I just wanted to see the communications calendar, then it removes everything, and then I can only see that. So if people are adding them to, for instance, calendars, see, people have been adding stuff to reunions under Encuentro experience where they should be adding them to their own project. So, so I'll have to find out who this person is and then help them move it over. But typically you want to add it to your own project, because this one, every single person who has access to teamwork around the country has access to this. So if you're posting on there, everybody's going to see your meeting and get confused. So it's best to keep it on your projects. And then I have this other one, which is Region 11 Communications, which is a group that is in California, Nevada, and Hawaii working on communications. Okay, so this is the calendar. And we'll get into a little bit more detail later how to use the calendar. You have statuses. We really don't use that because it's really only those who are in your what's called company or your organization. So I'll get into that a little bit. So these are the ones that are under ushispanicministry.com, people who help me. So it's my testing one, myself, Luis, who helps me with translation, and Marcos was an intern that worked for me. So so we would see each other. So we really don't actually use them, but if you wanted to post what's going on with you, so that, for instance, if you're like William over in, I'm trying to remember your diocese, you're in Illinois, and I'm blanking on your diocese, I'm sorry about that. But if everyone in your diocese, like say Jorge, and then you guys could post and see each other, only yourselves, okay? Joliet, that's where you are. Then you have people. So here you would see all the people who have access to teamwork. You should be able to see every single person because you know, anyone who has access to teamwork has access to the Encuentro project document. So so you should be able to just search for anyone, or also via a company. So if you wanted to search via so for instance, if you're looking for the Archdiocese, someone in the Archdiocese of Miami, you can click on that and then it'll give you all the people on here. As you can see, there are some people who have this yellow ribbon on here. It means they've been invited, but they haven't accepted. So those that don't have it are already in the system. So if you message them, they might not respond because they're not in the system. Okay, so let's go to the dashboard. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm using the current system. There is a new one you can try, which is TKO, which is their new version that's currently in beta, which means they're testing it. And it's a lot quicker, a lot faster. I normally use that, but because they haven't completely switched everybody over right now, I'm going to stay on this one. It's not much of a difference in regards to where menus are or anything like that. So it's just that it's a lot faster. Okay, and maybe a couple more features, but we don't need to get into that. So the first thing that I want to do is actually help you in setting up your profile, because there are some things that you need to do. So if you go up to the right corner here, you see that there's a little circle, and that's you. So you click on that, and then you want to go to My Profile. So it'll open up this page. Here it tells you, you know, your projects, number of tasks, how many you've completed, milestones, things like that. And so what you want to do is edit it. So go to edit it. And then you want to, for instance, add your photo. I've been working on Encuentro stuff, Penny. I think it's called headshot. There we go. Oh, there it is. So then I just add a photo as my headshot, and it's going to be on there. Okay, so you want to do that. We want to see your face. It just makes it easier. Sometimes people only know you by your face, so it's easier for people to remember you. So you want to add your photo. Then under your account, you can change your password here at any time. You don't really need this open ID. Details, here's where you want to put your title for it. And you want to put your title for not the Encuentro, but for your own ministry or your whatever you're representing. So if you're at an archdiocese, you're director of Hispanic ministry, or you're at a parish and you're the youth minister, you want to do that. And put that as your title. You want to put your office phone in case we ever need to call you. Now, for your cell phone, it's good to actually add your cell phone in there, because when it comes to, for instance, reminders or calendars, you can actually send them via text. So make sure that you select United States. So I usually start typing U and then find United States, which is 1, and then type in your area code and your phone number. Well, I don't know, you guys all have it anyways. 908-4019. And then it's going to send me a test. So as you see, it says a test SMS has been successfully sent. I just got it on my phone. So I know that if I wanted to send, if anybody wanted to send me something via text, via Teamwork, I would be able to get it. You can add your home phone, that's optional, and a fax, and you can certainly add other emails as well if you wanted to. You want to put your address, because eventually we will probably start mailing stuff out, and so whatever address is best for most of you, it will be either your parish or your organization or your diocese. But for some of you, sometimes it doesn't get to you if you're at a parish, so it's best, you know, whatever address you want us to mail you, put that address down. Profile, you can just put a little bio about yourself that you want to share so people would know. You can also put all your links to your social media accounts. So you want to put the address, like HTTP, like down here where it says, actually put Microsoft, but it's easier for people to click over if you put the whole URL address. Now this one here is really important that you do that, okay? You can select whatever language you want. So when you wanted to switch it over to Spanish, you can do that, and then everything is in Spanish. And you want to put whatever format you want for your date, if you want 12-hour or 24-hour format, what day you want your calendar to start, Sunday or Monday. And then this one's important here. You want to switch your time zone to wherever you are. Because, for instance, let's say you set automatically Teamwork will set it up a specific time, because I set this up, and because I'm in California, you know, it just sets every single account as Pacific time. And so what you want to do is switch it over, because when you add events to the calendar, it'll add them as Pacific time. And so you want to make sure that your events are in the correct time zone, okay? So make sure you switch that over to either Central Time or East Coast time, so you can certainly find them here. You can look under your city, or there's Eastern Time right here. So just find what you need and then change it so that it's on the correct time. For some of you have already done it, but the majority of it, because there's so many of you, it's just really tough for me to go through and do that every single time I add an account. So please just go ahead and do that. Here you don't really need to look at these preferences, but for instance, some people don't like to receive status update emails. So on a daily basis, you're going to receive where you are with projects. So if, for instance, you have a task that you haven't completed, it'll keep sending you emails. And sometimes if someone assigns a task, they might assign you, for instance, a deadline, and then they will send you an email alert. And so here, you can select what you want to be reminded of. So some people do not want to receive the status update emails. I do. I like that reminder on a daily basis, just to let me know what I have that's behind, or what's coming up. So you can do that, and you know, alert me when I forget to notify people when I comment. So you can just look through all of these and decide what it is that you want. So if you want your daily report or not. This little thing here is where you can actually get this. You don't need to worry about API token, but here you can download the application on your tablets, on your phones, your smartphones. So then you can access all of your documents, your calendar, everything, all the information that's on here. It might be a little bit more limited, but at least you can access it. We know that most of us are really mobile nowadays in our ministry, and so when we're out and about and someone has ask a question, that we can go ahead and you know, look something up quickly, or a document, and even share it straight from Teamwork. Okay, so I really recommend that you download it. All you have to do is put in when you get it, put in, I believe it's ENAVE with an H, and we haven't removed it. And then put in, I guess you put enave.teamwork.com, then put your email and your password, and then you should have access to it. It's really easy to use. It's a lot easier actually than using it here. And that's the way actually a lot of times when I'm traveling, I'm responding via the app, because it's a lot easier to do. Okay, I'm going to pause there to see if there are any questions thus far just on what I've done. So I'm going to give you a few seconds to do that, and just let me know if you have a question thus far. Okay, just go ahead and type it in if you have it. If not, then I'm going to move forward since we have limited time. Okay. Okay, so let's go over to, which is the area I'm primarily going to be working on. Let's say we're going to go to Encuentro experience documents. So if you click on that, then you get a second menu. So this is the project menu. Okay, so this is a sub-menu just for this project. So it's different from this one. Okay, so you have an overview of what's going on, you know, what's been happening with that project. You can see here. You know, Digna liked the file. You can see that I've edited or added files a couple weeks ago. Then you have tasks. So this is where you would assign people. I'm not going to do that here until in a different project, because then everybody will see it. So I'll get to one where there's less people involved. But tasks is where you can assign or duties to people. So anything that you want or needs to be done as a group, and you can actually assign it to multiple people. So I'll get that done. Prior to doing tasks, I recommend putting a milestone. So a milestone might be prepare materials for the parish training, okay? Or it might be just the parish training. And so that's your milestone. And then under tasks, then you put all your tasks under that milestone of everything you have to get done in order to reach that. So that's more of kind of a set thing that needs to happen, and then your tasks are all the itemized things that you need to do in order to make that happen. So we'll get into that once I go into another project. You have messages. So here is where you can send a message to people who are in the same project as you. So here you would be able to pretty much message, because you're under Encuentro experience, you pretty much message anybody throughout the nation, because everyone is on this project. I recommend that if primarily your communication should be happening within, you know, either your archdiocese or your regions when it comes to messaging, because if you do it here and you do not, for instance, set it correctly, everybody's going to see it. So let's get to this. So if you're writing a message, let's say the subject, and I'm actually going to send it to one of you. Let's say it's going to be article for newsletter. I'm going to actually send it to William. You send me your, can you send me your bio with a photo headshot? Normally this is going to be longer. So you can actually embed photos, put links in there, do all kinds of things actually in these messages. So I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to know, who do I want to actually see this? So because it's just between William and I'm actually going to look. Now this is going to take forever because might have not been a good idea. Because you have to search by company. So anyway, so normally here, this is where I would do this. This would probably work best if I was in a smaller project, but because everybody's on here, it's a lot more difficult to find And these are set by when they were created versus alphabetical. So let me see if it'll find it. No, it's not letting me. So I'm going to do this actually in a different one rather than here, because it won't let me find it. It's just going to take too long. That's another reason to use your other one. So privacy is actually what sets who can see it. So you would only want whoever you want to see it. So you want to select. So I would select William here. Category can just be communication, or you can actually add new categories. You can press add new category and then type in whatever you want, you know, these subjects to be. It could be, you know, trainings or whatever it is. You can add a category. I'm not going to put one. And then I would notify by email whoever it is and then select them to get the email. If I wanted to, I could also attach a file. Now, when you attach a file and it sends it via Teamwork, it will bring you back into Teamwork. So it's not actually attached to the email. It's actually a link that sends you over to Teamwork. One of the things and the cautions that I have when we're using this to send messages via email is that once this is sent, so let's say that this is sent, you'll receive it with, for instance, it'll say that it's from, let's say I'm sending it, it'll say that in your Outlook or whatever you're using, Gmail, it'll have my name, but then it'll say ENAVE in parentheses. And so if you see that, and let's say that that email had been sent to about 20 people, then everyone is going to get a notification if you respond immediately to that via Outlook. So if you're in your Outlook, you get the email and you're like, oh, I'm just going to respond here. You click reply, and then it sends it to, then it'll send it to everybody. Unfortunately, through Outlook, you can't select who you want specifically. So if you're trying to send a private message to someone, and you hit reply, and all these people had previously received a message, then everyone's going to get the response that you give to that person. So we have to be careful. That's why it's always best to go through Teamwork versus email, or just start or hit reply and then delete the email on Outlook and then type out manually the email for the person and make sure that it doesn't say ENAVE on it, because if not, everyone's going to get it. And it actually gets really annoying when you start getting like everyone responding, because then everybody gets it. And I don't, you know, a lot of people don't need to be getting the responses for everything. Okay. I'm not sure. Does that make sense what I'm saying? If you can let me know on the chat or on questions if that makes sense of what I'm saying. If not, so that I can actually explain a little bit better once I get over to messaging. On another project. So we have files. Okay? Under files, you will have all of the documents that have been added. For instance, here under Encuentro documents, we ask you not to really add anything to this one. You should be adding it only to your projects for your, you know, for your organizations or your diocese or regions or teams. So please don't add them here, because then everybody has access to them. You know, here they'll appear by, you can actually choose how you want them to appear. You can by date. So these would be the most recent that have been added. You can actually look by category. So let's say that I wanted to search by category. Okay, that's regional training. Then there are the prayers, the PowerPoints, oraciones, manuals, and manuales. So you have them all. These are actually logos, handouts. So you have them all by category. The categories are actually over here on your left, which we use more like a menu. So over here you have logos. I can close that up. You wouldn't be able to see it all, but then you can open it up and see that we have the different logos available. And we have the guidelines. Please look over the guidelines, because many people are using the logo inappropriately on social media, using it as their header or as their, you know, their main photo for their diocese. And actually we're very clear on there that they're not supposed to use it that way. You need to use your own diocesan logo, and you can only use a certain percentage of our logo on your on your header. So make sure that you read those guidelines and use it appropriately. Then we have the training resources, which is what a lot of you want access to. We have a section for English resources. So if you only wanted to look at English, you can close this up and then see that we have handouts. So then you could see here that we have all the handouts, or the manuales are here. You just want access to PowerPoint. So you can see how over here you have all the categories of things that you need, and by language. You can also try and search by name, so it would be alphabetized. And it could also be by size. Let's see, you knew that it was a very large file. You could easily look and see that, you know, wow, that's a very large file there. I did not realize that. Okay. You can also sort or filter them. So for instance, let's say that I wanted to filter by user. I knew that, let's see, I knew that, I'm trying to see who else has uploaded to here. I think I've been really the only one who's done it. So let me see if anybody else has done that. But I think I've been the only one. But if we were on a different one, we would be able to sort and find, let's say that if Marco has uploaded something, you see here it tells me there's no files from him. But you can definitely sort by person. So if you knew that someone had uploaded something and you couldn't find it in there, then you can search by user. So then, and then you just X here, press the X, and it clears it. Sometimes you can also, we haven't really been using tags, but you can, when you upload a document, you can use tags to identify what it's about. Let's see, where is it? I don't see the tags actually. Okay, this is how you upload files, and I'll get to that. I want to work off of a different project before we do that, but you could also change how you view the files. So you can maybe make them a little bit bigger, or even like this, okay? So it just changes how, it's your preference on how you want to see them. I actually like a lot of detail, because I need to be seeing when, you know, things were updated, and, you know, all the information on size or whatever. So for me, I like that. But if you don't need that, then you can make it just a little bit bigger. So whatever you prefer, you can change that too. Let's see, options. You can also, it says select post a file via email. That's a good question. So that's getting very complicated, and I haven't actually used that. So in the future, we're going to have more training that is a little more specific. Right now, I just want to get you introduced to the basics. Let's check to see. No one has any questions? No? Okay. All right, so notebooks. Notebooks are great because it's like a Word document that you can share and edit together. So let's say we wanted to add a notebook. Notebooks are great because you're working on them on real time. Let's say you're at a meeting, and hopefully you have Wi-Fi, because you need Wi-Fi to access Teamwork. But you can actually take your notes. So if you're at a meeting, you could say, you know, Junta del Equipo Diocesano. And then you could put your date here. Let's say it was today, August, 24th. I can't spell. All right, 2016. And then you would type up all your notes, you know, and then, you know, select, again, privacy is who has access to it. So you would select, let's say I only wanted my other account, only my official account to see it, and then notify me. It's only going to select, it's when you say who to send it to, it only shows up who you've selected to see it. Okay, so then I would say, okay, send it to me. Category, this is where I might put, for instance, minutes as a category. Great. Okay, so then I can create the notebook, type up my minutes, immediately save it. But normally you would want more than one person accessing it. So then it's saved here. And so I've just gotten an email that I added a notebook on my app. So it's telling me that I just added that. So as you can see up here, it tells me who it's visible to. So it's visible to my official account and my testing email account. And then anybody else who would have access to it can then go in and edit. So let's say, please, you could tell people, please review the minutes and the notebooks. But it's great because you're in a meeting, boom, immediately save it. It's already in our system and you don't have to worry about it. And then you can go in and obviously add or edit content. Then the last thing that you can do is actually, let's see if it's going to let me edit. You can lock the notebook. Once you don't want anyone to touch it, for instance, you finalize, you lock it up, and it says you've locked a notebook so no one else can actually edit it, which is a really nice feature when you don't want people to touch a document. We do that with certain documents that we're working on and that we know are finalized, and we don't want anybody to go in and edit and change them, okay? So that's a nice feature. I really like it. That's what we use for our articles, for when we're preparing for our newsletter. We use that because I can go in and work on it. And then, for instance, let me see if I can, I don't know if it's going to let me now that it's locked. As you see here, it says volume 1. Normally, if I was going to, for instance, here, if I'm editing, I can still, I can save as a new version. And then you see it says volume 2. So if I had somebody else who was working on it, it would say version 2 by, for instance, Luis goes in and he edits or translates, and so it would say Luis on there, and it will tell me when he did it. So then I have multiple versions saved, and I actually can go in here under versions and see, oh, but I want to look at the previous version at 1031, and then it'll take me back if I click on that, and you can actually compare it. Okay, so you can go and do that. Since there's no difference, you can't really see. You can also go in and unlock it. And for instance, let's say you see, oh, that this has a comma missing. So it's a minor change. So I would go in and let's say, oh, it's missing a comma. Okay, fine. But you want to put in, this is just a little change, because and it'll create a whole new version. And you don't really want to do that if it's something minor, because then we have like 3 or 4 multiple versions of the document. So then I save my changes, and now it says still version 2 on there because I didn't go in and say create a new version of it. Okay. So these are notebooks. Are fantastic for working together on a document and editing. It's great for keeping your minutes for your meetings, and also when you're writing articles or something for publishing, or an official thing that you're working on together. You can also add links. So for instance, here I had the original tour of the V Encuentro website. We probably need to update that because we've added new content. And so you can add links. So now we have all these other, I'll probably be adding the other YouTube video links on here as well for the ones that we recently published, I want to say about a month or so ago. But you can also put links to, it doesn't have to be video, it could be a website, resources or whatnot, just to have your links all in one place. Okay, so that's pretty much what you would have under here, under your sub menu. Okay, any questions on how to manage how to manage projects? Nope. Okay. If you do, just go ahead and type it in. All right. So we're going to go now to, I'm going to switch over to a different project, show you the quick shortcut. Remember, I said if you click on switch projects, I can quickly go over to previous projects that I recently worked on. So here we are in region 11. I'm actually not going to use that one because they're going to get confused if I do that. But I am going to go to communication team under projects. And here I'm going to talk a little bit about tasks, milestones, and a little bit more on messages. So first we want to do a milestone. So let's say, for instance, I'm going to create a milestone, which is my August newsletter. So this is our communication. Okay. So that should go out end of month. And here I can assign who's responsible. And you could add multiple people. So let's say that I wanted to add one more person. I'm going to add my other test account. I mean, my official account. And who can see it? I can determine that I only want us to see it since we're kind of just testing. I don't want to get anybody like confused. But right now I'm just selecting that we're the only ones who can see it. We don't have any followers. An email reminder will not be sent to this person responder. So you can click here to send a reminder 24 hours before it's due that, hey, this has got to be done. Okay. And you can notify now saying, for instance, if you're adding a milestone and it's not you, but you want to notify somebody else, hey, this is due by this, you can send it now. So I've added the milestone. We know we've got the August newsletter. And then you can add all of your milestones, you know, from here until, you know, your diocesan encuentro or your parish encuentro. So if you go over to tasks, I have all these tasks here that need to be happening. So what we're going to do is I'm going to create a task list for the August newsletter. Okay. I can select who sees it. Right now, I'm just going to select these two accounts. We're the only ones who could see it, but you could leave it open to everybody if you wanted everyone to see it. Then here you need to select milestone. I'm going to say, yes, this is for the August newsletter milestone. Okay. So then it selects it already as under the milestone. But I didn't finish that. Okay. So then advanced, append this list so that it never gets closed. I don't need to do that. Defaults. You don't really need to worry too much about your defaults. Okay. So then here, now that you've created a task list under August newsletter, you know this is milestones. This is for milestone. Then you can add your task list. So I'm going to say edit articles in English. Okay, assign it to, and let's say that they are due by Friday. Okay. I want to notify by email. And if it was multiple people, you could actually do multiple people. Okay. Here in this little tab, you can add the description of the task. So, okay, edit all articles and lock. I can attach a document. So if there were any files like photos, or if someone had sent me by email, they're supposed to send it via Teamwork, but if they had sent me an article via email, I can always attach it there so I know that it goes under August. Then you could add priority. What's the priority? Say it's medium right now. And then people eventually, once it gets added, people can actually indicate how far they've gotten on it. Oh, right now I'm 60% and I need this much time to finish it. That's great for if you need to document how many hours a person's working, and if you're paying them to work on it and you need to submit hours. So that's kind of good for timekeeping. Who will get notifications about activity on this task? So I will select both. So you can select only a status change, only comments, or all notifications. You don't need to worry about dependencies. This task repeat. So you could select, okay, this happens monthly. So same day, I can select one it ends on, or no end day, or same day of the week. Let's just say that it's on a Friday of the last day of the month. And then you save it. So then you can actually keep adding your milestones. So I've already got a notification on my app that says I have a task to do. Okay, it's actually really fast. And then if I'm done with it, I just go ahead and click I'm done, and it's done. Okay, and then on my app, it'll probably tell me soon that I have completed it. So that's kind of tasks. You can also create a template. Might take me a bit. You know what? I want to do that in the advanced. Most of you are just going to be doing very quick ones. But if you have things that are repeating, I recommend coming to the advanced teamwork one, because I really want to get into calendaring, and we're quickly running out of time. But that I'll do in the advanced one, where you can create a template, and then when you create a task, you can pull it out of the template. That's good for, you know, things are repeating or you're doing things multiple times. But that's tasks. The other thing, that once you create it, let me actually undo this, but once you create it, you can go in and set an alert. So you go to the little bell over here, and then I'm going to say, okay, when and how will I send the reminder? So since this is due on the 30th, I'm going to send it on the 29th, the day before. We'll say 10:40, but I'm going to send it via a text reminder. Okay, so that's where it's good to have the phones in there, because then you can send it via text. A lot of people, you know, are very quick when it comes to that, or you can send a mobile push reminder too, straight from the app. That you would have to depend on people to actually have the app in their system. So it's always best to do SMS reminder, but just remember that it costs people if they don't, depending on their plan. Or you can choose email reminder. And who will we send it to? Just me or all the people assigned to the tasks. And then you can send a message or not. You can just, it'll just send a reminder. So you could add this reminder, and you could see every one of the tasks is already, and it's already set to go via email for both. And then if you wanted to change it, let's say this person, I wanted to get it via text, update this, and one person will get via email, via text, because we know different people respond differently. Some people are more email, some people are more text. So that's a way to adjust it. So that's already set. The reminders are already set on there to go. Okay. So this is a great way to manage, you know, what you're doing and assign it and follow up. Some people don't listen to it. They completely ignore it. So you have to be on them and calling them. But a lot of people actually do appreciate it. So I'm just going to say I'm done with these. I don't know why it's on here twice. Wait, so many times, but okay. I think it's because there's multiple people. Okay, so we're done with that, with tasks. Any questions about tasks? Okay, I lost one person. One person left. Okay, so any other questions about tasks before we move forward with the calendar? Okay. Actually, I'm going to do messaging really quick over here. So here, I'm going to actually send a message to myself, because this will be easier here. So again, just a test email, testing. And I can send myself a copy if I want. I only want this between us two to see it. So my test email and my regular one. It's just communication. I'm just going to say it's about social media posts, and then who can actually be notified by email. I'm not going to attach any files. And then it says post this message. So so it's there, okay? The test email. Now I just got it on my projects, but if I check my email, I've already got it. Actually, no, not yet. I'm waiting for it to come. Testing email, got it. Okay, so I'm going to respond. I'm looking actually on it on my phone via email. Hold on a second. Still haven't gotten it. That's odd. It's taking a second. Let's give it a second. But normally, if I just respond to the email, then what would happen is from my phone email, it will automatically show up on here, right up here, that I responded. It's not doing, oh, there we go. Okay, got it. So now I got it. I'm going to respond via, you'll see how it changes in a second on the screen. I just sent it. So let's give that a second and wait for it to change, but it will automatically change. You see that? So now it changed to my other account and it says hello. Then I go in and look at it and it says, it has my reply on there. So that's what would happen. Now, then I'm going to get an email saying hello from the response as well. So it's going to show up on Teamwork. I just got it that says, hey, hello on there via my email. But if there were multiple people on there doing that, so it's always best to do it via Teamwork or or go through the app itself. That's my recommendation. You have a lot more control and you can select actually who you can respond to if there were multiple people on there. You can create a whole new message too. That would be my best thing, is create a whole new message. And if you just want to respond to one more person, okay? So here's messaging. I'm trying to remember if there was one more thing that I needed. Oh, you know what? I do need to go back to your profile because actually, let's go under people. If you're under people, as you can see, there's all these companies. Now, companies are organizations, they're archdioceses. And so we have, for instance, you know, all the archdioceses. Most of them have been added by me, but many of them were added because, for instance, when you many of the either regional co-chairs or diocesan directors submitted their spreadsheets with all of their teams, and in it they had the organization or the company on there. They just put the parish name or they left it blank. So, you know, some of me just put catequista, so it was on the wrong thing. So that needs to be changed because, for instance, if it's a parish and it's Blessed Sacrament parish, you see I already have another Blessed Sacrament, you need to make sure that you add the city after it. Okay, so for instance, you're at a parish, see that one even has Blessed. So that was incorrect. So that probably got taken straight out of the spreadsheet. So you need to go in and correct it. So all you have to do is, because it's not my company, I can't go in and edit it. But if it was my company, then I would be able to go in and edit it. So I'll show you over, if I go over to U.S. Hispanic Ministry. Okay, why isn't it letting me edit? Maybe I can't edit it. Maybe I have to be the one, as normally as an administrator, I'm able to change it. So, no, but I remember somebody else was able to edit it. View company. Oh boy, I'm not able to change it. Okay, I'm gonna research that, but if you have any changes to any of your parishes or organizations, send it to me. But the best way to send it to me for edits, please don't email it to me because I get like a gazillion emails a day. So if there's any edits, adding people, whatever it is, please go to whatever project it is. So let's say that it's under an archdiocese or a region or whatever it is that I need to add someone. Let's say right now, let's say that this was a parish, then add it as a task for me. Okay, so go to add tasks. First you have to create, I'm going to just create a task list of to-dos or teamwork update. Okay, So now we have a list. I might go ahead and add that to all the projects. And then here go, for instance, update business, or I'm sorry, you want to put the name, so Blessed Sacrament name, add, and then actually here put add city, whatever city it is. Let's say it was Sacramento. Then you could do that there. And then you assign it to me, put it under this one, Dr. That one, that one's my official one. You don't need to put a due date. You can give me like 1 week or so. Normally I try to do it within a couple of days and notify by email. Save my change. So then I'm getting messages on my phone telling me, hey, you need to do this. And then when I get my daily reminders, I know that I have to do that, because if you send it via an email, it's going to get lost. Not that it's going to, it can get lost. Most of the time I do them, but it's better for me if you do it via task, especially as this continues to grow. There's so many people that are being added and it's hard to keep up. So for me, it is more efficient if you add it via a task under your project that it needs to be done. So if you need to add someone, if you need to make an edit, change an email, update the work, the business, then please do that. That way I can go ahead and do that, okay? All right. So I will research that on businesses. I know that on my administrator one I can change it, and I think it's under your profile. Maybe it's under, you know what? I'm gonna go into my profile and then edit, count. Maybe it's, no, it shouldn't be that under email, because you can't even edit your company. Interesting. Okay, so let me research it. I may need to make a change in the administration side to allow you to be able to do that. I've written a note here and check business edit. Okay, but if I do allow it, I do need you to correct it. If not, then I'm gonna have to go in and edit all of these that were incorrectly sent. Okay, so let's go to calendar because we're running out of time. We have about 6 minutes to work on the calendar end of it. And my email has slowed, my network. Okay, so here we are under calendar. You can create event types. So for instance, let's say it's deaths and training, regional training, or meetings or whatever. You can actually create categories here. Okay, so I may need to actually do that myself on the administrator side, but let's go to all projects so everything shows up. As you can see, now that I've added milestones, they're right here. Here's a milestone, August newsletter. Okay, here's another milestone that I have here. You can also select by person. So if somebody else created something, I'm not going to see it. But I really don't need to do that, okay? Most of it I would work off of projects. So let's say I'm working under communications team, and you can see the milestone is there. That other milestone that was under, I think it was under the other communications, you can see artículos para el blog. So here you're just going to add, let's say that you wanted to add something on that day. You just click on it. Let's say it's a meeting. Actually, I think I do have a meeting on that day. I'm going to add it. It doesn't really belong to that project, but I have a core team meeting that morning at 8 to 10. Normally it wouldn't belong on there, but I'm just using it as an example. Oh, I'm sorry, core team. And then if I wanted to add any details, it'll be via Skype. Privacy, only people in my company. So that would be, for instance, your archdiocese or your parish. For me, it would be ushispanicministry.com. But if you wanted to be more specific, this is what the way I would do it. Members of a project can see this. So then I would say, oh, I only want my communications team to see that. So that makes it specific to us. Any person in this project can edit this event if you wanted them to edit, or if this is just for yourself, if you only want yourself to see it, okay? So primarily I would work off members of a project, and then you can actually select, for instance, people can actually select if they're attending. If you want to send them a reminder, you want to click this. So let's say, okay, I want to send a reminder to these two, or I want to notify them that this is happening, that I've added this. I can do that as well. And then after you've selected that, then you can send up a reminder about this meeting. So, okay, I'm going to send it via email, via text, or a mobile push if I know they have the app. Okay, so I'm going to send it actually 15 minutes before to give them some time. Oops, 15 minutes before. And I'm going to send it actually via text to remind them, because I know they're out and about. So that's on there. And then 15 minutes before the meeting, they'll get a reminder about the meeting, okay? So then if I go to, for instance, if I know that showed up there, but if I go over to just Encuentro, it's not going to show up for whoever's under Encuentro experience or under region. So only the people who are in communications team would be able to see that, okay? So I think I've got the calendar down for everyone under just the basics of the calendar and all of the project menu items and assignments. So does anyone have any questions before we wrap up? So head on over to the chat on the right. You might need to click on the blue little screen on over to your left. There's, I'm sorry, the colored square to see it. But if there are any questions, we have about a minute before we wrap up. Are you still there? You check out. I can't hear you, so. If you can just respond and let me know. That would be great, just to let me know that you're still there. You can also email me whenever you have any questions. The best way, obviously, for me is if you need me to do anything, is to send it to me as a task. Okay, so it looks like William's on there, Luz is okay. So this is just a very general introduction. I will, like for instance, I want to spend more time on other items that that are more specific for those that are more advanced, but this is more of a general one of just how to use teamwork and the benefits of it. I think it will, I know some people are really happy with it, and I know other people are really overwhelmed by it. And it just takes some time to just get in there and play with it and make errors and, you know, and figure it out. But I find it really useful, and I probably don't use a lot of the features as I should. I probably should be using it a lot more. But just if you have any questions about it, you can certainly email me or call me. You know, I'm always on the phone with people who have questions about it, trying to figure it out. Okay, so I appreciate you taking the time, and there will be more webinars on there that are specific to different ways of using it. For now, this is the general one. This should be recorded. I'm hoping that it saves it. Sometimes they don't save it, and then we will put it on our YouTube account, and then make it available for those that weren't able to be here. Okay, so I hope you all have a great day. Thank you for joining. Okay, hasta luego. Bye.